So General Foods built freezers and rented them to the shopkeepers to display Birds Eye foods. And still, the public held back. Until the Second World War. The war spurred a giant surge in research into nutrition, preservation, and mass production of food. Canned foods were rationed for their metal or sent to feed the troops. Frozen foods wrapped in cardboard and wax paper were more freely available.
A lot of women ended up working, so they didn't have as much time, so they needed the convenience. They didn't have the time to cut up the green beans by themselves and all that.
The military also built frozen food lockers and bought millions of pounds of frozen vegetables for its troops.
After World War II, when America was booming, everybody had a real refrigerator with a freezer in it, which is a very, very brand new thing. So you could have these fresh, frozen beans and all kinds of wonderful vegetables, unthaw them, just pop them in some boiling water, and they had a fresher taste and a brighter color, and Americans really loved that aspect of it too.
In 1945, prices were dropping and salaries rising. A home refrigerator cost $90, and a kitchen without one was the exception. The average time cooking and cleaning up dropped from 7 hours a day in 1900 to under 3 in 1950. In 1900, one married woman in 20 was in the workforce. In 1950, that number surged to 1 in 4. Frozen foods were no longer luxuries or modern marvels. They were indispensable.
Most of the great inventions in food service are for preservation. And even if you go back thousands of years, when man first smoked meats and put things in brines and put things in pickling and salted them, this was a way of preserving food that was not going to be around next week or next month.
Birds Eye's vision brought about the first major breakthrough in preservation since the invention of the can. Supermarket freezer sections, the aisle that Birds Eye built, swelled. Mrs. Paul's deviled crabs and frozen French fries appeared in 1946. In 1947, Americans bought 7 million cans of frozen orange juice, and that number doubled by 1948. In 1953, the now legendary TV dinner made its first appearance. And in 1955, on its 200th anniversary, the Gorton Fish Company introduced fish sticks. Even Birds Eye hadn't figured out how to make children eat fish. Gorton's did.
Fish in its native form is scary. There's all different kinds. So you got the scales, you got the, if you've ever been to a fancy restaurant, you got the eyes looking up at you.
What those fish sticks did was to make eminent sense for children because they were breaded and they were fried and they were very, very tasty, and they were types of things which kids could pick up with their fingers.
In the 1980s, frozen food fell out of fashion, condemned as flavorless and unappealing, after giant leaps in the shipping business introduced a huge new range of fresh foods to American markets.
If you're living in a country where diffusion of foods is very difficult and costly if they're fresh, where you have to drive a lettuce from California to Maine in order to have it, then you'll go for a frozen spinach. But once you start sending food by cheap jumbo jets from one place to another, then the prices go down and you buy the real stuff.
But the combination of freezer and microwave put frozen food on the table once again. Americans still don't have any extra time to waste on cooking. Food makers filled the freezer with an array of pre-cooked gourmet meals, organic burritos and Asian delicacies, and every one of them a descendant of Clarence Birds Eye's frozen caribou. By the end of his life, Birds Eye held 300 patents, including an electric fishing reel and an industrial harpoon. But the most important fish he ever caught was back in Labrador in 1916, when he was struck by a simple idea that changed life in America.